So today we'll be discussing about block and inline elements. Details we'll be discussing later, but now what we'll be having, we'll be just having an overall idea. So first coming to block elements. So these are the major components of the page that display like rectangular box. Okay, on the page they display like rectangular box. For example, your headings, then paragraphs, then your long quotations. So all these are examples of your block elements. In case of inline elements, whatever we write that appear within the text flow of a block element. So this is a block of elements which are displayed on your browser. Not exactly the elements, their output is displayed, and within that block I can say any particular line I will say is my inline element. For example, we have our links, then emphasize text, etc. So how do they look like? Suppose this is my browser. Okay, here suppose heading is there, SOA. Okay, this is my heading. Then here suppose it is written ITR, and about ITR some statements are written here. Okay, so this itself is a block, this is also a block, this is also a block element. Okay, after that suppose I am writing about hostel I am writing something, so even this thing is my block, this is block. So all these are my one block, because you can see I can create a rectangular box, I can outline them within a rectangular box. So I will say this is one block, this is one block. So here total 5 blocks are there. Okay, so within this block, this block consists of a bunch of statements. Now I can tell, suppose I have written a statement here, so this statement I will tell that is my inline element. Okay, so any text, a sentence, a string within a block of elements is known as your inline element. Okay, now let us discuss some troubleshooting in HTML. Small mistakes which may happen due to some coding problem, any other problem. Okay, so usually small mistakes and missing characters can cause HTML documents to break. So HTML documents, they break due to some missing characters or our small mistakes. Okay, so what are the common mistakes? First is missing of closing tag. Second is missing closing bracket in a tag. Okay, then third is missing quotation mark around an attribute value. This attribute we have already discussed. Then not saving your document before viewing changes in the browser. Next is if a slash is omitted. Okay, so if this is omitted, what will happen? So as a result of this, the browser doesn't know when the element ends. Okay, similarly, a missing end bracket so whenever there is a missing end bracket, then what will happen? The browser will interpret that all the following characters are part of the tag. So that happens in this case. Okay, this the case we have I have already written. So here that can happen. So how can I validate my document? Now what does validate means? Validate a document is done, validating is done to make sure that we are abiding by all the rules and there are no errors. So how we can do that? First is include doc type declaration. Then second is we need to indicate the character coding. Third is don't mismatch the tags. Then we should include the required attributes and we should not use our non-standard elements. These should not be used. So these are the points how we can validate our HTML document. Also there should be no overlaps of the tags. Then we should be checking for typo mistake, that means typing mistakes we should be checking. So we can use a validator tool. Validator tool is there. So one is like your HTML5 dot validator.nu. So you can upload a document here. Okay, upload a document or provide a link, and this validator will return whatever errors are there. we have already discussed about HTML elements. So in HTML element I have told you that this is my, if this is my opening tag, this is my closing tag. Okay, so one thing you remember, that for the pair tags we should not forget this end tag. Okay, if we forget, it may happen that HTML elements will not be displayed correctly, HTML contents will not be displayed correctly. But at times what happens, some HTML elements will display correctly even if we forget the end tag. Okay, because in those cases the closing tag is considered optional, but you should never rely on it. It might produce unexpected results or errors if you forget the end tag. So to be on the safer side, do include the end tags wherever it is required. Okay, and if I am writing like this without an end tag, so this is also known as my unpaired tag or empty HTML elements. Okay, now HTML is not case sensitive. The tags, these tags, they are not case sensitive. Therefore this writing capital P is same as writing small p. Okay, now our HTML5, this is the standard which we are following. The standard does not require any lowercase tags, but it is recommended lowercase in HTML. Okay, but in case of your XHTML, that is your case sensitive. Now next, let's discuss about attributes. Attributes, I think we have already discussed. Okay, so all the HTML elements can have attributes. So then attributes, what do? They provide additional information about an element. We already know that if this is my element name, then here I can write the attribute and then its value. Okay, so all the HTML elements, they can have these attributes. They provide the additional information about an element. This is my element name. They are always specified in the stat tag itself. Okay, and we write them usually as attribute name. So this is my attribute name equal to the value here, that is written within double quotes. Now coming to the, let us one by one slowly will be discussing about the tags. So HTML links, they are defined using a tag like this. Okay, so this is specified in the link address that is specified in this attribute. So href is my attribute which is used inside the link tag. This is my link tag. So how do we write it? Example is, we start the link tag. I will write about the hyphen reference, suppose https okay. We'll be learning more about this a tag later. So here what happens, I can see I have this is my link tag. So where this link will take me, the link is to this site. So this is my destination link. Okay, now this is the text this is the text which will be displayed on the screen on the web browser. It is written, this is a link. Okay, when you click on this thing, this text, it will take you to this location. This page will open. That's the meaning of link or hyperlink, we say. You must have gone to the sites like Wikipedia and many other sites where you can find, whenever you are taking the mouse cursor over the text, it is appearing something like your hand cursor is there. So when you click on it, some other page or some new window, new tab that opens. So those things are actually your hyperlinks. Now source, SRC, it stands for source. So HTML images, they are defined using the image tag. The file name of the image source, the file name for this image source, that is defined using the SRC attribute. Example, I can write image, this is my element name. So when I'm starting with this is my image tag has started. So it means now I want to display an image. So source, I will be writing the file name. If the file is in the current folder where this HTML page is there, so I will be simply writing the file name. Suppose image1.jpg. But if this file is in some other folder, then what I have to do is I have to write the total path here. Okay. Now coming to your width and height attributes. So image is there. For images we have these two attributes also. So I can write image, my source, suppose img1.jpg. So I have to mention the width. I will leave some space or one space, then I will be mentioning the width, and then again I will be mentioning the height. Okay, here I can write anything. I can write width and height first, and after that I can write SRC source. So that doesn't matter, which we have already discussed. So here the width and height, they are in pixels by default. Okay, so here 500 means 500 pixels wide. We'll be learning more later. Next, coming to our alt attribute. This attribute specifies an alternative text to be used. When it is used, alternative text is displayed if an image cannot be displayed. I want to display an image, but suppose the image file is corrupt or image file is not there, somebody has deleted it, so there will be an error because the file is not there. So what it will be displaying? So in those times, so that the user will not be finding a blank space or getting any error kind of thing, so we display a alternative text. So that text is written, that string is written using this alt tab. So this value of this alt attribute can be read by screen readers. So therefore, if somebody is not able to view a browser, vision impaired person, so they can hear the element. Okay, so I can write, in case of image tag it is used, I can write img source, suppose my image1.jpg. so I can write the alternative text like suppose this is my profile picture, this image is my profile picture, so I can write my profile pic. Okay, so if this image by some reason it is not visible, or suppose it does not exist, so in those cases this is displayed. Now coming to the style attribute. So this is used for specifying the styling of an element. For example, like your color, then font, then size, etc. So how can I write it? Suppose I want to use red color for a paragraph writing. So I can write P, then style attribute is used, color, I'm mentioning red color. So if I am writing this paragraph is visible in red color. So P is the paragraph tag, I've already told it. So I want that whatever I write within this P tag or within this paragraph, everything the text color, the paragraph text color should be red. So that how I'm mentioning, I'm using the style attribute. So style equal to color, I'm setting as red. We'll be learning more in our CSS. Under CSS we'll be going in detail. Then coming to language attribute. So the language of the document can be declared in the HTML tag. Okay, that is done using this lang attribute. So declaring a language is important for the search engines, screen readers and the search engines. How it is mentioned? It is mentioned as HTML, then your lang. Okay, so the first two letters they specify the language. So here EN is English, and then suppose if there is a dialect, then what we can do is you can use two more letters. Okay, so English may have, suppose some other languages also there whose first two letters are EN. So in that case I can use two more letters, that is US English. So this means US English. Now coming to my title attribute. A title attribute is added to a P element, that is paragraph element. The value of the title attribute is displayed as a tooltip when you mouse over the paragraph. So we can write it as, my example is P, I can mention the title like this is you must have seen tooltips whenever we are, must have marked that on browser. If I am moving a cursor to on some text, then immediately some tip like something appears there. Only 2-3 words or 4-5 words maximum, you can see that. So that's a hint about what will be displayed or what it contains. So those tooltips are displayed using this title attribute. So HTML5 standard does not require in lowercase attributes. The title attribute can be written with uppercase or lowercase. So this title I can write like this, or I can also write like this. Both are same. Okay. I have already told that these attributes, if it is same as writing like this is a title tooltip. Putting double quotes or single quote does not matter. Similarly, writing in lowercase or uppercase, that's not a problem. Now next, let's discuss about the headings. So headings, in my previous classes already I have told, these headings are defined from H1 to H6 tags. These were used. H1 defines the most important heading, where H6 defines the least important heading. So headings, why they are important? The search engines, they use the headings to index the structure and content of the web page. Then also the users, they browse a page, go detail into page by going through the headings. Okay, so therefore it is important to use headings to show the document structure. So H1, it should be used for your main headings, followed by H2 headings, and then it goes on, and the least important is H6. So by default what happens, our headings, they look bold, so we should not be using bold and other type of things for displaying the headings. So each of these HTML headings, H1 to H6, they have a default size. But if you want to specify the size for any heading, you can do it using the style attribute. So what do we write? We write it like this. We can write it as H1, then style. The style we have already discussed. Then suppose I want to mention the font size, so I'll be mentioning the font size in terms of pixel. Okay, then I will be mentioning here, suppose introduction. This is my heading which I want to display. Okay, so they have a default size, but I can alter the size using this style attribute. Now coming to our horizontal rules, so HR, it is used, it defines a thematic break in a HTML page, and most often it is displayed as a horizontal line. Okay, when it is used to separate the content in an HTML page. In those cases we go for our horizontal line, that is HR tag. Now coming to HTML head element. This is your HTML head element. It is a container for metadata. So what is metadata? It is data about the HTML document. It is not displayed. Metadata, it is not displayed. The head element is placed between my HTML tag and the body tag that we have already discussed in the minimal structure required for an HTML document. So I can view the HTML source code. Whenever we are going through a browser, we can view the source code. How we can view that? You right click on any HTML page and there's an option. There are many options. Out of that, there is one option like view page source, okay, or view source. So if you click that, you can see the HTML source code of that page. So what we have done today, we have learnt about, till now we have learnt about the HTML tag, then body, head, then from H1 to H6 we learnt about HR, our link tag, image tag, along with some attributes. We have learnt all those things in our today's episode. Today's class we have learned that. We have already discussed about paragraph tag also. Okay. So paragraph tag we have discussed. Okay, another one is our BR tag. BR, it defines a line break. If whenever you want a new line without starting a new paragraph, then BR is used. For example, I can write P, then this is, next I want whatever, next I'm writing it should be going to the next line. I can write this is a paragraph. Okay, suppose again I am writing with line breaks I can use. So here what will happen, my output will be in the first line, it will be this is, then a paragraph, then with the breaks. So this, here we have used a BR tag, here again we have used BR tag, that is why we are getting 2 line breaks. Similarly, we have pre tag or pre element. So this element defines the pre-formatted text. So whatever text is written within this pre tag, it is displayed in a fixed width format. Okay, usually it is Courier, and it preserves both spaces and line breaks. That is automatically done. So usually this is, when it is here, it is used for, basically used for poems. Okay. So that's all for today. Next class we'll be discussing about the HTML styles and some formattings. Thank you.